Hello and welcome to TICE. We are honored to have with us Ms. Jaya Vaidyanathan, a visionary leader in the field of digital transformation. Currently serving as the CEO of BCT Digital, an award winning global company, Ms. Jaya is renowned for delivering disruptive fintech, regtech, and clean tech solutions to large organizations across diverse industries. Ms. Jaya is not only the CEO of BCT Digital, but also an independent director on the global board of PwC and holds several other key positions. With over 2 decades of industry experience, she has been a driving force in product strategy, innovation, and digital transformation. Ms. Jaya, welcome to TICE.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
First question is given your experience as a leader in the startup ecosystem, what do you believe are the key challenges and opportunities for startups in the current business environment, especially in the fintech sector?
The fintech segment around the globe, as you know, has seen a rapid transformation, and it was the darling of everybody with a lot of funding coming in. With the funding drying worldwide, there is also the challenges of saying that you need to stay the course. You need to look at it in terms of being profitable. It's not good to have a great idea alone, but also look at how do you profitably grow? How do you look at the scale up? And how do you look at rapid market expansion? Great idea is fantastic, but staying the course and looking at a vision, staying profitable, focus on the bottom line, all of that now more and more are getting important from the investor perspective. Not just being a darling and therefore kind of saying, I have a great idea, that's not going to work anymore. But focus on the financial numbers are going to be something that's key as well. In terms of challenges, I would say that the funding for the right systems is something that has been a challenge. And that is something that we will see the survival of the fittest as we go along.
So, like you said, ma'am, that just coming up with a great idea and saying that I have a good idea doesn't work anymore. And
Yeah.
that we have seen in the many cases also, the startups are growing rapidly in the initial years and then failing badly. So, what do you think are very crucial for the startups? What should they focus on, like in the accounts book, in terms of finance? So, what do they focus on?
But keep a measure of how you're investing back into the business. Look at growing profitably, which means in terms of finances, EBITDA is really important in terms of staying focused on. Looking at scale up in the right way and going after the right markets and looking at profitable growth is going to be really key from an investor mindset perspective. Acquisitions, if you're doing it, do it for the right reasons, not just because it improves your top line, but because they're truly synergistic in terms of either filling in a competency gap or looking at it in terms of a new market. So you need to be very mindful of the culture and as well as the kind of acquisitions that you're targeting. So be wary of the bottom line, specifically of EBITDA, and also in terms of scaling up the right way. And if you have a great idea, let's say you're a technology expert, and this is a startup just focused on a technology area, then you'll need to make sure that you have the right governance in place and you also have the right leadership that is needed for a more mature kind of a growth. So often, as a founder, you tend to say it's my product and therefore I will do the right way. But you may come in with a technology vision, but you don't have the right business vision for which you need to ask for help. And there's no shame in asking for help, but that's definitely needed from a governance standpoint.
Okay. And according to you, Ms. Jaya, how much focus should be given on the valuations? Because we see a lot of startups, like they focus on the valuation of their startups. And even after getting the good valuations from the investors, they massively fail in the later stage. So, how much should they focus on valuation?
You should first be interested in the area of business. You should actually think that's going to be scaling up the right way, and not growing ethically for the sake of valuation is something that must be avoided at all costs. As long as you invest in the right things, it's okay to focus on valuation, is my opinion, but that should not be the sole focus. You're
It
not
should not be the
developing the
only
business
focus.
for valuation. It is
Yes.
okay in the process if you're attractive, and you will be attractive if you're the right you're in the right business area, you're in something that's completely innovative, you have the right governance in place, and you have the right people to advise you in ethical growth. And then valuation will automatically follow.
Given the right rapid evolution in the fintech sector, how do you foresee the overall growth trajectory of the industry in 2024? And what key drivers do you anticipate contributing to this growth?
I'll probably use the banks as an example, and that's to generally describe the ecosystem. Banks no longer view fintechs as a competition. They look at something that, banks can do their core business, and for what's not core for the banks, fintechs come with a great play in terms of being a partner in the growth rather than somebody that's looked as a competition. And banks by themselves, in terms of the ecosystem, as an example, are open to APIs, open to open source tools, open to clouds more than ever before. And this bodes very well for the industry. And while digital lending space is seeing consolidation with RBI clamping down on unauthorized lending apps, genuine players are getting much better in terms of partnerships. So this is just a kind of illustration with an example. But overall, when you look at the industry, there's more openness to embrace fintechs with open arms. But there is also a lot of regulation around making sure that the right ones are growing and the wrong ones are kind of staying away from the ambit. So there is a need for surveillance scrutiny as well, because you can't let the wrong ones enter the scheme as well. So that's kind of the overall growth I would talk about.
So, in your view, what specific trends or innovations within the fintech space are likely to gain prominence in 2024? And how are these shaping the competitive landscape?
Sure. Let's talk about some of the large private lenders. I'm using HDFC Bank as an example, that they posted all-time low NIMs this week, right? So there is
Yes.
going to be a need to mobilize more low-cost deposits, and something that many banks are expected to do using digital technology. So two things are expected to happen: digital investment to make banking easier for customers, as well as digital investments in branch and back office operation that will reduce overall costs. And again, I'm using HDFC Bank as an illustration. You will remember a few years back, while they were growing tremendously from a customer acquisition standpoint, they had major failures in terms of the core technology system. So that is something that you're seeing, that there's going to be a lot of focus not only on end user access but also on the mid office segment. And that is something that you will continue to see a lot of investments in. And these are areas where fintechs will step up with ease. And they don't have big legacy of systems, so fintechs can operate without heavy duty baggage, and that is going to help fintechs stay the course. And there's also going to be, as a trend, major investment in risk management, because you will see with every credit upcycle, the lax appraisal standards happen, and then you're stuck with asset quality, and the cycle keeps going on. So that is something that you will also see majorly. And these are things that you would see are kind of a positive spin for fintechs in the competitive landscape.
When we talk about the colleges, when we talk about the industry and the colleges, there is still a huge gap in between the academia and the industry. So when the students go to the college in the initial years for the undergraduate courses or for the bachelor's courses, like there needs to be they need to be nurtured in a way in which they develop that business acumen. They are ready to, they have the courage to come up with their ideas and go for a startup or go for a business rather than go for a jobs or like this. So what would you like to suggest to the government or to the educational institutions, like how can they nurture this entrepreneurial mindset in the students right
So,
from the college level, not
so
in the
I would
MBA level, not in the IITs, but right from the college level?
So I think some of the greatest ideas comes not only from the cream de la cream in terms of academic institutions. As we go along to tier 2 and tier 3 cities, we find that a lot of bright ideas comes at the grassroots levels from there. So we need to start there. I would, as you know, Silicon Valley started with the Stanfords and Berkeleys, right? The innovation that happened and continue to happen at academic institutions are something that's developed You do have co-investment of companies, and you do have governmental intervention in promoting innovation, and you kind of the corporate environment continues to nurture through labs at academic institutions, and you do have volunteers that actually coach the university students on aspects such as how do you actually read a term sheet, legal support, what can you sign, what can't you sign. If you need help, there is a pro bono kind of a process where they actually mentor students from legal views to business plan reviews to kind of conducting a lot of events where the stalwarts of the industry, the entrepreneurs all come together in key areas and bring students on board, and they debate on entrepreneurial ideas, invest in them, take them through the entire thing through boot camps, etc. And we are very much looking at a similar model in India as well. Because once you start at the grassroots levels, at the academic institutions, and they're groomed to be in a position of taking this, that's when we truly will become a product oriented nation where innovation happens at the grassroots level
That's
rather than a service oriented culture where we say, tell me what to do and I'll do it for you. We need thinkers. We need people to think and also know that their thinking result will be results oriented and will see light at the end of the day. And you walk through a mentorship process, and that's something, like you mentioned, industry bodies are actively looking at. And
okay.
I would like, through the skills council and a lot more sops and investment from a governmental point of view, to encourage these to happen at the grassroots level. Because truly, India is not the cream de la cream, but also at the grassroots level from a Bharat point of view, we need to start the innovation there and then propel it through to see the culture change in India.
Ms. Jaya Vaidyanathan, thank you for talking to us.
Thank you very much. Absolute pleasure to talk to you.